Hey everyone, this is Roman Fusco from Face to Face Games. I'm coming at you today with Break from Limited. I actually want to dive a little bit into the current standard format on Arena. So I actually haven't played a lot of Constructed as of late. I've been playing a lot more Limited, both in paper and on Arena. But if there's one thing I love about Constructed, it's control decks. Even in Limited too, I really enjoy decks that play these big, powerful cards. I like playing from behind and then eventually winning a game and controlling my opponent's board and their actions. So I love playing these types of decks in Constructed as well. And with the printing of some cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, I think that the control archetype in general is poised for a comeback in Standard. There are definitely some matchups that it struggles with, but if you're looking for a deck on ladder that is a good foil to maybe the mono white decks or these random green based aggro decks, I think blue white control is a great choice. This is a build that I put together, and I'm not sure if this is 100% correct by any means, but it's basically playing cards that I find really powerful. So let's just dive right in. So the first thing we should talk about is the new cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So first of all, I want to jump over to, let's go to Farewell first. So Farewell is a new Wrath effect from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and at first I didn't give this card too much thought because it's 6 mana. That's very expensive for a control deck to be casting. In recent times, I think an issue for control decks is that the Wraths don't always clear the whole board. Decks, even if they're aggressive decks, have lots of different types of permanents. Take mono green aggro, for example. The deck plays Eska's Chariot, which is an artifact. It plays Renin 7, which is a Planeswalker. It plays, I'm blanking on the name, but it's the 2-drop enchantment that makes a wolf, and you can level it up. I forget what it's called, but the level up enchantment is very good. It's on the 3rd level up. When it becomes level 3, you can play creatures from the top of your library. So it's actually a great source of card advantage against like control decks. So blue control has, or control decks in general have, I think, struggled to have these like mass board wipe types of effects. Doomscar is a good board wipe against just a deck that has creatures in it, right? But when your opponents are playing all these different types of permanents, it's harder for you to maintain your opponent's board. And I think that up until now, control decks haven't had those sorts of answers to deal with those diverse types of threats. So going back to Farewell, Farewell is a great addition to this deck because it can exile basically everything except for Planeswalkers. The one thing this deck, I think, does have trouble with right at this moment, and maybe there are some cards that can deal with Planeswalkers better than the cards in this deck currently, but basically Farewell is a great card that can wipe up your whole opponent's board. It exiles creatures that might be indestructible or have triggers upon when they die, such as Old Growth Troll from the mono green aggro deck. It can get rid of Eska's Chariot. It can get rid of that level up enchantment from mono green. It can clear out treasure tokens. It can clear out Rite of Oblivions from your opponent's graveyards or a flipped Edgar Markov. There's there's a lot of threats in the format that this card can deal with. And even though it's 6 mana, it's a great answer to a lot of different threats. I think it might be and when I was building this version of the deck, I was thinking about this card because I like this Wrath a lot. I like this sort of effect where you can come back from a board state where your opponent might have like an Eska's Chariot in play and other pesky creatures. So one inclusion that I'll talk about in a second is the Celestis. This is an artifact that is a mana rock that is really great in control decks because you're usually not casting spells during your turn, so you can make it night easily. It helps you gain life against the aggro decks. and facilitate your cards. So, against an aggro deck, you might not want to draw the Sod coming or negate, but with the Celestis, you can pitch those cards away in hopes of maybe drawing a card like Doomscar or Sunset Revelry. I just want to touch on this card real fast because when I was thinking about this deck, it's really hard to cast cards like Farewell that are, putting 4 of a 6-mana Wrath in your deck, 3 or 4 copies is a lot of mana. So the Celestis is a way to gain life and also be able to ramp up to those higher cost spells in your deck. The next card we can talk about here is March of Otherworldly Light, another edition from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. This card is seeing play in blue-white control in Modern, and Pioneer in Modern, and that should tell you something right off the bat. This is a great sort of Path to Exile effect that, you do have to put in a good chunk of mana. The one negative about this card is that, for the most part, the threats you're killing, you're paying more mana than their mana cost, so you're not really mana efficient. Like, you want your removal spells to be able to deal with your opponent's cards at equal mana value or less, and with March of Otherworldly Light, you're paying that additional white mana to start things off. The one benefit, though, of March of Otherworldly Light is that it can hit non-land permanents, this meaning it can kill creature lands. So, for example, in the format, there is a cycle of creature lands from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. One of them is in this deck, Hall of the Storm Giants. So what's great about March of Otherworldly Light is that you could kill the March of the Storm Giants for just paying white mana. I mean, you'll have the Ward 3 trigger happen from Hall of the Storm Giants, but you're paying, 4 mana to kill this card. Or, against the other ones, the other lands in that cycle, you're paying... This card is essentially just better Swords to Plowshare against those cards, which is pretty cool. Additionally, this card can hit enchantments and artifacts, so that means you can kill Kumano Faces Kakazan, you can even kill treasure tokens with this. You're probably not going to want to do that, but it just has a lot of implications, which is interesting. I had a match where my opponent was trying to hit mana, and they used their Prismari command to make themselves a treasure token on turn 3 at the end of my turn. And I mean, this March, I had, I think, multiple Marches in my hand, and it was against Blue-Red Dragons. So I just decided to kill their treasure token. I put them off mana for a turn, which was, an interesting application of the card that otherwise may have just been dead if it only hit creatures. Other benefit is if you're swathed with a lot of cards and you're short on mana, you can exile them if you want to. You're usually not going to, but you can exile other white cards in your hand to kill something one turn where you have to get it off the board, but you don't have a lot of mana at your disposal. So I'm a fan of this card. It deals with a lot. Again, there are cards in the format that have triggers upon when they die, and this is a great way to get things out of the graveyard. It gets like Blood in the Snow decks. There's a lot of just different applications to this card, so I like that it is a removal spell that deals with a lot of diverse threats. And finally, we have the Wandering Emperor from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and this Planeswalker has seen play in like blue-white control decks in every format that I've seen so far. Standard, Pioneer, Modern, even Legacy, like Jeskai control decks, this card has shown up. This card is, I was pretty surprised at how good this card is. It's it plays really well with control strategies because it has flash, so you can cast it at instant speed. The turn you flash it in, you can also activate its loyalty abilities. So this card can deal with one of your opponent's attacking creatures right off the bat, and then the next turn you can either cash it in for a samurai, or maybe just tick up. Usually what you're doing is, I think, flashing this card in, making a samurai, putting a counter on that samurai, and now you have a 3/3, and some loyalty counters to use for your next turn. This card is great. It plays into our game plan very well. It this kills creature lands. It kills most creatures that are attacking you. Against Goldspan Dragon, for example, this will kill Goldspan Dragon and exile it permanently, and your opponent will not get the trigger to make a treasure token because it's not being targeted by a spell. So yeah, like this card, I'm surprised. I don't know why I'm that surprised, but it's just proven to be very solid. Like usually, when I think of control deck Planeswalker, I think of a Planeswalker that can, traditionally draw you a card for the plus, minus as a removal spell, and ultimate win the game or something, like the Fairy Hero of Dominaria. But this is a very versatile Planeswalker that is a great addition to this deck. And yeah, I'm not sure if this deck should be playing 4 copies because it is, a legendary Planeswalker. You might not want to draw all 4 copies of this card. But what's interesting though with multiple copies is that you can, if you have multiple of these in your hand, you can just go, okay, flash this, use it as a removal spell, gain some life, make a token, and then have the next one ready to go right off the bat. Cool. So that's sort of the new cards, but we can talk more about the base of the deck now. Where to begin? Okay, so with control decks, if you're newer to playing the control archetype, there's a couple different things you want to keep in mind. You basically want ways to stop what your opponents are doing, and that can be in the form of wraths, which basically just kill your opponent's whole board, and that can be in the way of counter spells, which basically just counter your opponent's spell and stops it from happening. With control decks also, you want ways to actually win the game. So in this deck, for example, it has a couple of different win cons. You have tokens in the form of the Wandering Emperor. You have Hall of Storm Giants, which is a land that's very hard to kill. And then you also have Hullbreaker Horror. Hullbreaker Horror was an addition to this deck I made at the last minute. I just love this card so much. It feels like every time I'm able to land this card successfully, I just win the game. You never want to draw this in too many multiples, so 2 is the max I really want to play in decks like this, but I think the first copy is basically pretty free, and this card can just win games right off the bat. What you really want to be doing with this card, though, is play it in a turn where you have 1 or 2 mana open, and then you can use a card like Consider, or maybe Jawari Disruption open, so you can get that trigger off Hullbreaker Horror. So for example, even if your opponent casts a removal spell in your Hullbreaker Horror, and you have this Jawari Disruption, you can still just cast the spell to target the removal spell. You're not going to counter it, but what you're going to do is either bounce that removal spell back to your opponent's hand, or you're going to bounce your own Hullbreaker Horror back to your hand so it saves it from the removal spell. So yeah, it may not seem like a lot. I guess also you can make tokens off this card, Sunset Revelry. This card's more of a way to stymie the aggro decks. You basically just want this card to cycle and make you some blockers, or this card's functionality is to just gain life and stall while digging in your deck more for cards like Wraths or your win conditions. And it might not seem like this deck has a lot of ways to finish out the game, but your game plan is more about just making sure your opponent can't win the game at all. You're eventually going to win by just playing a Hall of the Storm Giants, right? And it's really hard for your opponent to kill this card most of the time, unless they're playing black, I guess. But you even have ways to bounce back your own creature to your hand with Otawara. I'll get into the lands more in a second. But all in all, this deck has a couple of different threats, and you're usually not going to run out of ways to win the game. I was thinking about playing some cards like Witness the Future to maybe shuffle your deck back, your cards in your graveyard back in, but there are also times when you want to use Farewell to exile all graveyards, so I didn't think that was a great combination. And also, Yeah, like 3 mana just to draw a card and shuffle some cards back in is not really what you want to be doing for 3 mana, so I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, so let's talk about a couple of other cards. First, I guess let's go over the removal suite. So we have March of Otherworldly Light. Fierce Retribution is an interesting card that I hadn't really considered before building this deck. I saw it, I think, in some list somewhere, and it got me thinking. In Standard right now, there are a lot of different decks that are attacking you. You have the Jeskai Hinata deck, where it has cards like Hinata, Goldspan Dragon, Elemental tokens. In the Naya Runes deck, you have just turns where your opponent can play a Runes card champion. I forget what the name of the card is called. The 2/3 that finds runes and makes them cost 1. And the whole point of that deck is that they're trying to shoot up one big creature and attack you for a lot of damage in one turn. So I like having cards like Fierce Retribution to sort of foil that game plan. Not the best versus Goldspan Dragon when they get to make a treasure token out of it, and maybe they have a way to bounce their dragon back, but sometimes you do what you gotta do. And then this card is just great versus all the aggro decks too. It's cheap and it's effective. And even if you're not playing against aggro, the cleave, just being able to destroy one creature could also be relevant. So I like this card. There's not really a lot of white removal spells in the format, but I think Fierce Retribution and March of Otherworldly Light make for some pretty great removal spells in this deck. For removal, what else do we have? We talked about the Wandering Emperor, and then basically just Doomscar and Farewell as wrath effects. You're basically just trying to manage your opponent's creatures before they become too out of hand. And when they become out of hand, that's when you want to land one of these wrath effects. A couple other cards we haven't talked about yet. This Copy of Negate. I wasn't sure whether or not to play this card, because in Best of 1, I feel like there's more aggro decks, but for the most part, a lot of different decks have just diverse suites of threats. So Jeskai Hinata has Magma Opus, and Naya Runes has Showdown of the Scalds. Mono Green has Renin 7, Eska's Chariot, that level up card that I keep forgetting. Like Blizzard Brawl, but the Brawl isn't really it's not going to be that relevant versus our deck. Or like Snakeskin Veil is relevant. In Mono Red, I haven't seen a lot of Mono Red, but they do play, I think, Chandra, and Kumano faces Kakazan, and I think other burn spells maybe. The point of Negate is that it's a card that you can always pitch to your Celestis if you don't need it, but I think just having the first copy is a nice just catch-all to some of these threats that you might not be able to deal with right away. Saw It Coming is a way to sort of just counter anything that comes your way, but I like that Negate is just cheap, and it's a way to sort of trade up with maybe more expensive cards like Renin 7 or Magma Opus. And then in control decks too, you want to have ways to refill your hand if you're wrathing or casting your planeswalkers. So that's why I have 1 copy of Behold the Multiverse and 2 copies of Memory Deluge. With the Wanderer Emperor just being so good, you don't want to have a mass of 4-drops in your deck. So Behold the Multiverse is interesting because it's sort of like a 4-drop that can be a 2-drop, where you can foretell this on turn 2. And then Memory Deluge is a card that you can just cast for 4, or you can put it in your graveyard with Consider and then cast it back for 7 mana later, essentially a dig through time effect. Deluge is just a great way to dig to the cards you need faster. This card has also just been showing up in more Eternal formats, so it just shows you how powerful this card can be. If you're playing against an aggro deck, you might want to find your Doomscar, or if you're playing against like Izzet Dragons, you might want to find like the Saw It Coming or Negate. The last card we can talk about here is Teferi, who slows the sunset. I wasn't really sure about including this card. This card might just be worse than the 4th Wandering Emperor, But I've played with this card a lot in Alchemy, and this card is obviously a lot different in Alchemy because you can untap Key to the Archive, essentially just making a bunch of mana for yourself. But what's great with this card is how it interacts with the Celestis, because Celestis is an artifact. You can tap this and then untap it with Teferi to gain you some more mana every turn. Other than just Teferi gains life, it can, again, it sort of digs you through the cards you want later on. And then the emblem is nothing to scoff at. If this card is left unchecked, you can just completely run away with the game. I think I've only ultimated this emblem. I think I've done it a couple times in Alchemy, but I've done this in Limited before. And I think every time I've used the emblem, I've won those games. It's unfortunate this card is a little slow. It doesn't really interact well with your opponent's cards because it doesn't act as a removal spell at all. It's more of just a draw and mana ramp type of card. But I like that with all these decks that make treasure tokens, it gives you some sort of mana advantage, which I like. And then after that, the lands, I'm just playing one copy of Iganjo and one copy of Otawara because they're legendary and you don't want to draw them in multiples if you have to play them early on. It might be right to play maybe one more Iganjo in best of one, just another removal spell you can have in your deck. But I think just having one and one copy is fine. Hall of the Storm Giants, maybe there should be 3 of this card, but I think 2 is just a fine starting point. It's one of your win cons. It's certainly possible this deck should have a Cave of the Frost Dragon, which is the white version of this card, which is 5 mana to activate and makes it into a 3/4 flying dragon creature. But right now, I'm just fine playing 2 copies, but I should maybe consider having a Cave of the Frost Dragon. And then you just have your essential blue-white lands, Beach, and Pathway. And lastly is Field of Ruin. Field of Ruin is just fine because it helps fix your mana in the worst cases. I've used it to fix my mana before. And it's just another removal spell for your opponent's creature lands. Mostly against mono green and mono red decks, but also in the mirror, you can use Field to kill your opponent's Field so they can't kill your Hall of the Storm Giants, or you can just kill your opponent's Hall of the Storm Giants. So that sort of wraps out the deck. I think I've talked about every card. Oh, Jawari Disruption. It's just more of like, there are more lands in your deck. Right now I'm playing 24, which I think is fine for best of one. So Jawari Disruption is more of like this mini little counterspell that also just as a tapped island. And other than that, I think that's all the cards in the deck. I'll play some games, and we'll just see how this goes. But I think if there is a blue-white deck in Standard, this is close to what I think it's going to look like. You want to be playing Farewell, Emperor, and March. Just these new cards from Kamigawa that sort of bring the deck together. Again, these cards are all seeing play in Eternal formats. I mean, maybe Farewell not as much, but definitely Emperor and March. So that's a good enough reason just to be, playing these cards already. I basically wanted to make this deck sort of mimic the blue-white decks I was seeing in Pioneer and Modern, and I think with these cards being in Standard, this deck has a lot of game to it. So yeah, let's jump into some games. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Roman Fusco from Face to Face Games, and today we're playing some blue-white control on Arena in Standard, Best of 1, Ranked. Let's just jump right in. Definitely not too high of a rank right now in MTG Arena, but I play way more Limited right now than I do Constructed. But I'm hoping soon there's an announcement of some just higher end Constructed tournaments in paper and on Arena. I don't really enjoy playing Ranked in general or the qualifier weekends, but I do like playing the Arena Opens. Those have been pretty fun. Okay, let's see what we do here. Okay, we're on the play, and I'm pretty happy with this hand. I wish I was doing some more on turns, 1 through 3, but we do have some good top end here with Deluge and Wandering Emperor. If our opponent's aggressive, we have the Sunset Revelry, so we're going to keep this hand. We'll just start off playing this. I don't have any reason to play this card untapped, but It gives me more control of what I want to do with this hench gate pathway later on. Play an island. They played a plains first, so I'm going to consider them being mono white or on rune. So I'll just keep the Sunset Revelry for now. I don't really need to cast it just yet. Oops. Okay, they're on blue white control also. They could have Jawari Disruption, but I'll play the Celestis here and see what happens. They could also just negate this too, which is fine. Okay, that's fine, because I have this Emperor to follow up. Playing the Mirror. Okay, now I just want to resolve this Wandering Emperor. I think it's kind of hard for these decks to deal with Planeswalker, so I'm just going to make a Samurai in my main phase. They have a Consider here, I'm guessing? They had one... Oh, they have March of Otherworldly Light in their hand. Because there was a stop there. Okay, I can respect that main phase Memory Deluge. It's -2 to make a... okay. So I'm going to play... I think this is a white... If they have March of Otherworldly Light in their hand, this could also be a Doomscar. I'm just going to make another Samurai, I think, for now. Go to combat. And I'll pass. I don't really want this Deluge to get countered, but this gives me more options. If they say they play like a thing I really want to counter this turn, I could consider to try and find a counter spell and still Memory Deluge, potentially. If I don't find the counter, but let's see what they do here. Okay. Playing Imrith. So then I will consider in response. Yep. Exactly the situation I was just talking about. Glad that worked out for me. I need to find some lands, so I'm going to Memory Deluge now, actually. Okay, that's good. I think I want this Behold the Multiverse. Them playing Imrith, I should maybe consider this Fierce Retribution, but I'll just take this draw spell too, I think. I think that's correct. Okay, I'm going to +1 on my Samurai and attack them for 5. And pass. Also for the Imrith, I can discount my March with the Sunset Revelry, I guess. I think I should have enough mana. Okay, they're going for their own Doomscar. That's fine. Wedding announcement. Oh, that's really weird. Yeah, that's really weird. Ooh, Hullbreaker Horror. Now I want to find my lands. So I kind of want to maybe Sunset first, then Deluge. Oh, actually, if I Sunset, I don't draw a card. Because they'll have 4 cards, I'll have 4 cards. Maybe I'm supposed to just Sunset, Foretell Behold. Or Foretell Behold, then Sunset. I think I like that play. Sunset. Saw it coming. I want to find lands next turn. Or for my next turn. So I think I just pass here. You don't foretell this. I want to keep my mana open. Also just to scare them potentially too. But I really need to draw my lands to hit this Hullbreaker Horror. I'm very fine with that. Like, we cashed in a lot for that Wandering Emperor. I have to let them attack here, unfortunately for them to draw a card. Oh, they're not drawing a card. They're just making a token? Okay. I'll hold here into maybe a counterspell. I like both those cards. I want more lands, but I'm fine. I'll attack with everything here. They might have their own Wandering Emperor, which I will counter. I can counter and Memory Deluge too. Yes, I can do that. I can counter and Memory Deluge as well. Yeah, I'm happy just making games. They're doing that? I only have 7 mana. That's fine. Now, part of me wants to just play this Wandering Emperor and hold up Counterspell. I think I'll do that. I really want to play that Hullbreaker Horror, but I think it's fine to play Hullbreaker Horror when I have 8 mana, so I can Hullbreaker plus Consider. I'd like to just get this Emperor on the table while I can, when it just can't get countered. Again, like one weakness of this deck is that it's hard to deal with Planeswalkers, which is why I maybe should be playing Fateful Absence over maybe some of the Fierce Retributions. Okay, they're going for this Deluge. I think I'm okay with it, actually. Or should I counter this? I'll counter it. I don't know if that play is correct, but I think that's fine. Oh, okay. Just random out of guess, I guess. Cool. Alright. Stick around, and we'll be back for another game shortly. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Roman from Face to Face Games. Okay, so we're going to continue playing some games with blue-white control in Standard Ranked on MTG Arena. One change I actually made to the deck after the first game we played was I cut the Fierce Retributions for Fateful Absence. I think one thing I overlooked in the deck building process, and I even talked about it a little bit, was that this deck really has a hard time dealing with Planeswalkers. With the addition of Farewell and March of Otherworldly Light, you have a lot of answers to cards like Eska's Chariot and just other random artifacts and enchantments. So I didn't want to run into the issue of having to deal with like opposing Wandering Emperors. In the last match we played against blue-white control, and we were in a pretty commanding state the entire game. But in the chance that we do play against a deck that has either the Wandering Emperor or Sorin or Lolth or Renin 7, there are a lot of Planeswalkers that are pretty popular in Standard right now. So I think Fateful Absence just being sort of a catch, the addition of Fateful Absence makes it so you have answers to all types of permanents. So I hate giving my opponents cards, but I think it could be totally fine. Just some more insurance against those other types of decks, like black-white mid-range and mono-green, and the mirror. So yeah, let's play some more games. But I've been enjoying this deck so far. You definitely could use some little tweaks here and there, but I really wish there was tournaments to play in paper. I would love to bring this deck to a GP or a PTQ. Like I said, I really like decks where I can sort of play from behind and manage my opponent's resources. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we're on the play. We unfortunately don't have a third land, but we have 2 Sod Comings we can foretell and cast, and the Doomscar we can foretell and Sunset Revelry. I think I'm going to keep this because we have technically 24 mana sources left in our deck, plus the Celestis, and this Revelry can draw us a card, so I'll still keep this hand, even though it's a little shy on lands. Alright, opponent kept. Blue-green, interesting. I don't know what blue-green really is, so I'm wondering if I should foretell something or just cycle or hold up consider. I also don't mind like foretelling the Sod coming and considering in my upkeep to try and find a land. then next turn I can either play my counterspell or play this or foretell. So I think I like that. I'll foretell. I should put a stop on my upkeep. Shigeki, interesting. Okay, so now I'll consider my upkeep. Solve that. Yeah, put that in the graveyard. Draw. Draw for my turn. Okay, so it wasn't a plains, but I think I will fire off this Revelry to draw a card and make some 1/1s. Okay, not an island. I mean, at least we got that off the top of our deck. So that makes me feel a little bit better about that play. But, well, it's a 4th land. I can't be too unhappy about that. They're going to bounce their Shigeki back through their hand to ramp themselves. I just want to set up more counter magic. And then I will just pass here. But they're going to be able to activate their Shigeki and put a 4th land into play. So they are going to be ahead of us on mana next turn, which is a little unfortunate. Their deck is really interesting, though. Just like ramping out Cyclone Summoners. And they probably have Coma. Like, Coma's a card I should be careful about, I guess. And I don't think I can counter that one. If they play the Shigeki, I'm probably going to counter it. I can't keep letting them have that much value. And I have 2 counter spells, so I don't feel too bad about that. But I really need to draw more islands soon. It's a little unfortunate we draw these planes, but there's a chance maybe I should be playing more islands, but a lot of double white cards. Alright, so we're definitely countering that card. I guess you know what? Maybe that play was wrong. I could have marched the creature for 0 and I killed the red and 7. Wow, I actually made the wrong play there. So if I lose this game, it might be on me actually, so totally my fault. I just, instinctively countered the red and 7 there when I should have just marched the token and killed it. Yeah, that was a huge mistake on my part. It's okay. We learned. Chariot. I just gotta counter that one. Yeah, I really wish I had another counterspell foretold. But you live and you learn. If I play the Shigeki here, I'm probably going to just counter it. Oh, nice. Okay, blue is really good for us there. They're probably going to cast this Otherworldly Journey, or they have Negate open, I'm guessing. I'm not sure what they're representing here, but it's probably just this Otherworldly Journey, or, Otherworldly Gaze, sorry. That's fine. I mean, that doesn't draw them a card, so I have mana open. I don't really care about another Ren 7. I don't really care about Eska's Chariot because I have a good counter to that. Farewell. The good news about their deck is, so the cards, so what's good is actually with Farewell is I can exile their graveyard to counter the Shigeki ability. So they kept the card on top. Okay. Now I'm just hoping they cast another Ren 7 so I can punish them. I can Memory Delusion March the token. If they play the Shigeki, I might just still march it. No, I'm definitely going to cast this Memory Deluge here, I think. Don't really care if they ramp themselves more and mill themselves. Tamiyo. It's a little unfortunate. If they get back their Chariot, I can march one of the tokens, Deluge, and then be able to kill the Tamiyo. Yes. Oh, I can also march the Chariot token. I forgot about that. But then I can't kill the Tamiyo. I guess I should Memory Delusion and see what I draw first. I really want to hit more lands, though. I do like Hall. I don't mind just taking Hall Beach. Oops, but we're in the end step. Fairy's not a bad draw, but I think I'm still going to do this. Yeah. So here's the question. I have a couple of options this turn. I think I still play Teferi. I could cash in so that the couple options here are like play Hall, play Teferi, either plus Teferi or cash it in. Then they can like crew their Chariot and kill my Teferi if they have like they could use their lair to kill my Teferi also. But I do want to set up this Hullbreaker Horror. Hall. Yeah, I kind of want to set this Hullbreaker Horror for the next turn, so I don't mind playing Hall. I think I just still play Teferi here. And do I I can untap my token. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So untap no artifacts, target a creature, and I target planes. Cool. Yeah, because I can either block the token that attacks the Teferi, can block the lair or the Chariot. But yeah, I wanted so that the thing I was thinking about that turn was I really want to set up this Hullbreaker Horror very soon. I was considering just farewelling everything away because they can also Shigeki this turn and get stuff back from their graveyard, which is it gets them good value, but I think I'm okay if they just take their turn to do that and they just keep up mana. I have not seen this card in a hot second. Oh, now they get to kill my Teferi. That's unfortunate. But I think now, I really would have wanted to keep my Teferi around, but now I get to just fire off my farewell this turn, I believe. I get to exile their whole graveyard because of Fang. I mean, exiles my Memory Deluge. That's a little unfortunate, but I might be the right play. I don't know. We're in a little bit of a tough situation here. I was not thinking about Quandrix Command. That's pretty interesting. I could hold open mana, Deluge, next turn Farewell. Non-legendary cards. I guess they can't get their Planeswalkers back, so do I really even care about the Shigeki? I think I just want to hold up my mana, maximize my Deluge, and follow it up with a Farewell. And Field Trip. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, now I get to kind of clear the way for my Hullbreaker Horror, which I really like. Okay, I like that they're tapping out this turn. That's really good for me. It's very, very good for me. Oh, baby. I actually think I might not play Hullbreaker Horror, though. Oh, I guess I could Hullbreaker Horror. Let them... I really want to just Deluge and then Farewell next turn, though. Exile everything from the graveyard. Let's see. If they draw a land next turn, they can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just gonna Deluge here. I'm greedy. I like cards. Alright, definitely want Wandering Emperor. More Deluges. I actually consider for the horror. This is a greedy play on my part for sure. I hope it pays off though. One short of this Field of Ruin. Damn. Okay. So, artifacts do everything for safe measure. Oh, they draw a card. I forgot about that. Oops. It's not a big deal. I don't want to play my Field of Ruin in case they draw their own Field of Ruin. So I'll play this Deserted Beach, I think. I might consider still if they go for a huge Lair of the Hydra in case I draw March. That's fine. It's fine. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll have 9 mana next turn, so I can Horror plus Consider. Just hit me for a little bit with the Lair. It's totally fine. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should have played this Horror or not the last turn. I was thinking because at some point I really want to fire off that Farewell. I think I'll just take 3 here. Even if I draw the March next turn, it's still really good for me, so I don't really care about casting this Consider right now. Okay, it was a land, but I play this Field of Ruin, and I get to pass. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I can't field and Hullbreaker Horror. God, it'd be so cool if they just go for a huge Lair of the Hydra here. Yeah, I'm really wondering if I should just Hullbreaker. My play. Huh. I mean, I'll just add a blue. It's fine. Comes into play tapped. Oh, on the battlefield. Okay. Get island. So if I Field of Ruin, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana open still. Okay. My question is here, do I want to... I could Field of Ruin their lair, Wandering Emperor away the Chariot, and then Doomscar them. I think I like that play. I'll lose the mana, so I can cast the Wandering Emperor. Okay, it's been a pretty interesting back and forth game. Colossal Sky Turtle? I was not expecting that. Yeah. Okay. So next turn I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, 7 mana. Get this lair out of the way while we can. Our opponent's deck is just full of surprises. It's kind of throwing me for a loop here. Right, I'm definitely casting this Doomscar. Playing my beach. I think I want to make them attack my Wandering Emperor, so I'll just plus it. Submit 0. The cool thing about the Wandering Emperor is, even though I don't make a token here, they're still pressured into attacking my Emperor. So it saves me some life. They can get back Turtle with Shigeki, that's like their loop, which is kind of interesting, I guess. I can't bounce the spell because it's not casting a spell, they're just triggering the ability of Channel. Next turn. Okay, they're going for that. That's fine. And now I should be fine to just Hullbreaker Horror. Or should I wait for one more mana? I don't think there's anything in blue Kareem for 3 mana or less that really disrupts my Hullbreaker Horror. So I'll cast it end of turn. They can't counter it. So I think this should be game. Am I missing something? I mean, they can bounce it with Turtle. I don't really care if they bounce it with their Turtle. I mean, sure. Like 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll make a Samurai for good measure. I'll play a Hall, and I'll just pass. I don't know why they would just... I mean, I guess they have to, right? But I don't know how they plan to win this game. Oh, they can just make a huge Hydra and start attacking me every turn, but they'd have to make it an 8 power to get through my Hullbreaker Horror. It's pretty tough for them to do. They'd spend a lot of mana to do that. Yeah, I wonder what opponent's going to do here, knowing they now they know I have the Hullbreaker Horror in my hand. They might have like Season of Renewal in their deck to get back Shigeki and Turtle. I mean, they show me enough crazy cards already, so I can believe it. How many cards are in our library too? 33 to 32. Okay. I don't think it's going to come down to decking, but always good to be aware. Well, they're in the tank. Their play isn't easy. I mean, I have Hullbreaker Horror plus Consider. I feel pretty good about my situation. I have this just Wandering Emperor that's not under any real pressure right now. They definitely have some sort of way to recur things in their graveyard, though, which may be a little scary. But I feel like all of their plays that are detrimental to me are very impactful, or very mana heavy, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'll just see what happens. I can't just not do anything. I want to get this going. They can't Quandrix command to kill my Horror. They have nothing big enough unless they they make their huge Hydra, but then I can just consider get my Horror to my hand. I mean, I'm really curious what they're thinking about here. They're using a lot of their time. I assume they have Shigeki in their hand, or like Season of Renewal, or a way to get back. But I mean, I don't know what their plan is. Okay. Sure. Oh, I see. They're going to loop. So they can pay 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 to make that. I kind of want to attack with my Hall this turn, but I think I should be a little careful. I'm going to attack with both my creatures here. If they want to use all their mana to make their lair into a creature that can block my Samurai, then I get to march it, which is nice. I get to put them off mana and hit for 10 this turn. So, I mean, sure, you got me. Again, they have to pay 6 mana every turn to keep bouncing my thing. So, eventually I'm just going to pull a hit on mana. I'm not really concerned about what's happening here right now. This has been a pretty long game, though. I mean, I actually really want to watch this game back early on and see if there was something I could have done differently to be in a more commanding position this game. But at this point in time, yeah, I don't know how my opponent is really dealing with my Hullbreaker Horror plus 2 instants now. I mean, they have a loop where they can just keep bouncing it back, but that loop costs them 6 mana a turn. I mean, run in 7. Sure, I'm just going to bounce the token with my Hullbreaker Horror when I cast Consider end of turn. It's fine. Sure. All right, so I'll cast my horror here. I'm going to consider and bounce the token that they're trying to copy. Could have also maybe cast just horror and considered put the Ren back in their hand. I want instants here. I do not want Doomscar. I want cards that can play it at the speed. Sure. I will block with my horror. Okay. They knew about all those cards I had in my hand. Circuit Mender. Okay. Okay. If I exile their Circuit Mender, can I kill them? I'm one short. I march this. I have 7, 14, 17, 18. I put them to 1? I don't think I march this. I mean, maybe that's fine. This might be an aggressive play, but I don't really care. I can put them to 1 this turn. One important lesson about the control decks is just know when to turn the corner. Like, I'm going to bounce the Ren because one thing I realized here is that if I could totally lose to like them killing my samurai somehow and making a huge thing, so the Ren doesn't even really matter. Yeah, actually maybe I should have just left the guy back or made a token. That was actually really bad of me. That was a really bad play. I should have just made a token with Wandering Emperor. Jeez. I don't think that's going to end up mattering. I don't think they can lair for 11 and kill my token, but I should still be a little more careful here. I should definitely be more careful here. Also, because I bounced the Ren, I should have made a token so that I just diversify the board. That was really bad of me. Jeez. It's fine. I'm in a commanding state, but even when you're ahead, just know, like, don't mess things up. Oh, Cyclone Summoner? I'm, like, pretty happy with that, actually. I'm not happy with them drawing Field of Ruin, but I have 7. I mean, I'm just going to Horror plus Wandering Emperor. I don't know what they can really do about that. Yeah, I definitely did not play this game that smoothly, but... So if I add a mana here, can I foretell, have mana open to counter? So I want 7, 11, 13, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So total this is 4, 8, 15, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So So I still that resolve. Man, I like definitely did not play this game smoothly. So 4, 3. Oh wait, do I not have enough actually? Did I miscount? 7. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I actually don't think that foretelling matters. I mean, I'm just gonna Hullbreaker plus Emperor. That's fine. Yep. Okay. I win here, right? I play Hullbreaker and I play my Celestis. I have Counter Magic open as well. Cool. It was a very back and forth game. I did not play super tight. I don't know if my opponent played super tight, but that was a good game. I mean, there were a lot of decision points in that game. I probably could have done a lot of things better, but I'm still at least glad with how we navigated the victory. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Roman Fusco from Face to Face Games, here playing some blue-white control on Magic the Gathering Arena in ranked best of 1. So let's just go into another game. Yeah, so far in the games we played, I've really enjoyed this deck. There's been lots of decision points, some really interesting gameplay so far, so I think this deck is a pretty good contender in this current standard format. Okay, we're on the play, but unfortunately we cannot keep a one-lander, so we will mulligan. This one is fine. I'm definitely keeping, I think... So I could put back a land because I have this Behold the Multiverse. I could also put back the Sod Coming. I like Sod Coming on the play. It's tough because in best of 1, you don't know what your opponent's on. You know, it can be a gamble of what you want to put back here. I kind of want to take the risky route, which is just put back a land, cast this Behold on turn 3 if I don't hit a third land to find my third land. The Celestis could be bad also, potentially. But I want to try this play and see how it goes. Just want to keep all my spells, I think. And hopefully just draw lands to match my spells. Okay, we're playing against a Shipwreck March deck. That does not... Being on a mulligan, that does not inspire confidence with me. Maybe it was wrong to put that land on the bottom, but we shall see. Okay, they're zombies. Okay. Okay, so I drew my third land, which is good. I think here I'm going to Celestis and cast Consider. End of turn. I could also just put this away and Consider, but I want to get the Celestis going. I don't think in blue-black there's a way for them to really kill my Celestis, so I'd like to just, advance my mana. This can help with card filtering, so if I don't want to have this Sod coming in my hand at some point. Ooh, Kaito is annoying. Yeah, these planeswalkers are so tough to deal with sometimes. Alright, we'll consider Don't think I want this Farewell. I have a Wrath already, but I want to hit land drops. Yeah, like, that's good. So I'll play this land, and I will pass the turn. I'll take action. I don't think I want this Farewell. I have a Doomscar already. I don't know what sort of artifacts and enchantments this blue-black deck could have that would really punish me, so I think I'm fine just discarding these Farewells. Maybe they have some sort of graveyard shenanigans. Graveyard Trespasser. I don't think I care too much about that one. I could counter it, but oh, it'll be night, so it'll be... Oh, this is annoying. I can't see what the flip side does. I mean, I know what it does, but I can't even check the flip side of this card, right? Oh, I can if I double click. I should just show you initially. Okay. Do I want to counter or just cast Behold the Multiverse here? I think I'll let this resolve. I don't really care about them eating my graveyard. I'm going to Behold the Multiverse before attacks. I want the land, but I also want to find a way to deal with this Kaito Shizuki. Okay. They're going to get to draw a card here. This card is really good. Okay. Can this make things unblockable? I don't think it can. No. So I can make tokens. I have triple white, right? Yeah, I can make tokens and play Emperor, kill this, have blockers. I think that's okay. I'll be able to discard this Celestis. I feel okay about my position right now. I mean, I'm okay on mana. I'm managing my opponent's board okay. But this Kaito Shizuki is really annoying. The emblem would be pretty annoying, I guess, but I have Wraths to clear it out. Oh, wait, I'd rather just them emblem than keep this around to keep drawing cards. Okay, take action. We'll get rid of this Celestis. Yeah, tapping out this turn might have been a little risky, but... Okay, they want their 5th mana. Okay, that's pretty annoying. But not much I can do about that, unfortunately. I have no idea what their deck is, so I was not playing around this Invoke Despair, unfortunately. Yeah, the thing that's really going to kill me this game is this Kaito Shizuki, which I don't think I could have countered on turn 3, unless I don't think I had this Jawari. I think I just had this, saw it coming. I'll take 3 here. I don't need to block yet. Man, they just draw a card. They're drawing so many cards. Let's play a Hall. Do I care if they hit me for 4? I don't really care if they eat my graveyard at all. It doesn't really matter. I just contain this Kaito Shizuki a bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I draw a land next turn, I can Hall and kill their Kaito Shizuki probably. So I'm going to... Actually, I think I just pass here. I could foretell this Doomscar, actually. I don't mind that. I don't think I'm casting Jawari Disruption. Okay, I'll take action here. Yeah, I really wish that one of these Wraths was able to deal with Planeswalkers. I'd feel a lot better about my position, but... Alright, so I want this 8th land for my, or 8th mana for my Hall of the Storm Giants next turn, so I'll discard a Jawari Disruption there. Although I feel like I might just lose this game to game run over by my opponent's card advantage. This Kaito Shizuki is pretty much... okay, that's good for me. I just saw it coming this. Yeah, that Kaito Shizuki has basically just, like, taken over this game. But if they don't attack me here... Oh, man, what a blowout. That is so good for my opponent. Now I can't kill their Kaito Shizuki next turn. That's really frustrating. It's a complete foil to my plan. But, you know, I don't think I could not have played around that. I'll take action. I don't think I want more lands. I'd rather just keep this Jawari Disruption around. Deluge. I think part of me wants just Doomscar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they get Mascot Exhibition from iTwitch, I can Jawari Disruption it. So maybe I'll attack the Kaito first and see what happens. Okay, let's see what they get. I don't really care which lesson they get here. I mean, if it is Mascot, I can counter it. Confront the past. They just want to have insurance if their Kaito dies. Okay. Well, I'll play a land. And I think I pass here. I could Doomscar, but I'll pass and see what happens. I really want to get into a point where I can kill this Kaito Shizuki with my Hall of Storm Giants. They could reasonably have the black creature land. I'll square this Jawari Disruption. I feel like their spells are cheap enough where they can play around my Jawari Disruption. They know I have them in my deck too because I've already discarded a copy. So, yeah, here I'll take 4. I could activate my Hall, but it just dies to removal spell if they have one, so I don't really want to do that. It's fine. Take 4. They might just pass with mana open here. Use their Kaito to draw a card. Yeah, this game was lost to the Kaito Shizuki. Okay. I don't think I care about this because then if they just make a bunch of zombies, I can Doomscar them, which is nice. Also, if I draw a removal spell off my Memory Deluge, I can kill this. And then attack with Hall. They can't kill it or block. I'll Deluge here in response. Okay, March is good. So is another Deluge, so I'll take those. Yeah, this is interesting. So let's see. Yeah, they draw a card. But then they just get to get back their Kaito next turn, so I don't really care. I think I'm just going to Deluge again and then Wrath them. Take the 2 best cards. Okay. Take action. Discard Island. Wandering Emperor. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna tap this for colorless. That for 2 white. Doomscar. I take 4 down to 11. And then I just pass here. Yeah, it's been a tough game. Okay, I'm very happy about that. I assume they have another Kaito in their hand, but I'd rather them just emblem than draw cards. I assume they have 7 cards in their hand. Oh, they're gonna get back at. Oh, they're gonna cast Confront with the Past. Oh, Concealing Curtains. Okay, that's fine. If they activate Concealing Curtains, I can march it. Soren, oof. I think I have to counter that. Well, yeah, I think I have to counter that. Okay. Now if they go for the curtains, I can march in response. So only as a sorcery, right? Okay. It's cool with March that they can't... Oh, okay. I think I still just kill this. X is 1. It's only a sorcery, yeah. Fairy, who slows the sunset. If I cast a fairy, I make, so I tap 1, so 1, 2, 3 lands. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I get fairy plus memory, which is what I'm trying to figure out here. I don't have to play my Aganjo, so I'll tap this for white. White. I don't have a land I want to kill with field, so I'll tap my field. And I'll tap a blue, cast a fairy. Plus target artifact, 0 creatures, and a land. I guess this Field of Ruin I should untap just in case. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Enter. It's been a really interesting game. I feel a lot better than I did a couple turns ago when they had the Kaito in play. I mean, they're going to confront the pass and get a Kaito into play. But I feel good about them just ultimating that one turn. Invoke Despair. That's not fair. That's fine. They have to draw some cards, which is kind of cool for them. My Teferi, I wish I could keep around, but that's fine. I'm at 9. It's a low life total. I have, I think, 2 more Farewells in my deck to deal with this Meat Hook Massacre if need be. If they confront back their Kaito, Trespasser, that's fine. The one they target with Trespasser, I'll cast. Oh. Sure. Interesting. This game is very back and forth. It's been a good game. Okay, Hullbreaker Horror I love. Love to see that. So I want Hullbreaker for sure. I think I want this March. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can't Hullbreaker plus Emperor, but I can Hullbreaker plus March. I'm gonna pass. My life total is under some pressure here, though. Especially because I bottomed another Farewell. You can get rid of an Emperor here, I think. Or do I get rid of a Ganjo? I don't know if this is right, but I'll get rid of an Emperor. I guess that shows them I have one in my hand, but I think that's okay. They have 3 cards in their hand. Okay. Don't mind them doing that. I think I have to let them hit me here and take my Deluge because I want to Hullbreaker Horror. I don't have 14 mana, right? No, there's no way I have 14 mana. What? Why are they taking Wandering Emperor? That's fine. Okay, I'll cast my Horror. Arena, why don't you not tap my Field of Ruin? Not that it really matters, but... Infernal Grasp. Exile this. Turn target non-permanent to its owner's hand. This guy. They have another Infernal Grasp. Oh, they can also get back their Sorin this turn. It's kind of brutal for me. But I think they have another Infernal Grasp here. It's unfortunate. Should have one more mana this turn. Oh, okay. I get my horror back. That's good. Yeah, but them getting Sorin here is going to be a little brutal for me. I guess what I can do is... oh, I forgot about the Kaito ability too. Whoops. I wasn't even thinking about that. What's the worst thing they got? Oh, brutal. Oh, man. That's so good. That is so good for them. That's not bad for me, though. Okay. We're not out of it yet. So I want to Doomscar this turn so they don't kill my Memory Deluge in my graveyard. So I think I have to cast that. That's for sure happening. One, two, three, four, five, six. I can play the Ganjo. Cast Emperor. Cast Sunset. Make a Samurai. Okay. We're running out of cards in our deck. It's kind of funny. There's a Hive. That's fine. They're going to get back Sorin here, I guess. Sorin would let them make a Vampire. I can get past the Vampire with my 3/3 token, though. Yep. They're going to draw cards with Sorin? No, they're going to make a Vampire. Okay. That was expected. Alright, I think I'm in a better position now, but I need to just be very careful with my play this turn. Okay. It's a little annoying. Do I cast Consider or do I Memory Deluge? I think I want to cast Consider before anything. Otawara? I can bounce the adversary and attack. This is so tough. It's been a really tight game. I don't know if I want this Otawara though. I mean, it's a removal spell. Maybe it's fine. I'm trying to think quickly here. Might just have to pass. Hall has to block their tainted adversary. Otawara bounces their token. Okay, need to be safe here, make another token. Pass the turn. Yeah, been a really back and forth game. Oh, they drew a Hall? Gross. That is so gross. It's a really good draw for them. Do I have another Field of Ruin in my deck? I think I still have one. Okay, I still have one. Jeez. Crazy deck. Crazy, crazy game. Their meat hook. Okay, it's not... doesn't really matter. Okay, they're going to attacks. Okay. So let's see. If I activate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... yeah, I can activate here and also Otawara. I'm glad they didn't attack with the Hive of the... whatever it's called. Going to 7, 6, 5 this turn. Oh my god, I keep forgetting about the stupid Kaito ability. Jesus. Ah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. This has been a really funny game. Wish this gave Vigilance. Yeah. I would. I think I keep forgetting with this emblem, just all the way over here in the corner. I think I would have blocked differently if I remembered that. Actually. Oops. Huh. This is Menace. I can't block this. So I'm going to cash this in for a Samurai. I can't block this. I think I just passed the turn. Yeah, really, really tight game. Wonder if I could have managed my Hullbreaker Horror better. Okay. Are they going to go for their other Hall? Yeah, they're doing things that they should have activated the Sorin first before doing anything. Jeez. That's fine. I have a negate for that, I guess. They might just grasp it now. I think I have to negate this then. I think I'm dead here, actually. Actually, maybe not dead. No, I think I'm okay. They kill my Deluge here. I don't understand whether they just have never been killing my cards that matter. Okay, I left my Field of Ruin open. Good. Am I dead here? No, I'm not dead here. I need to gain life, though, if I want a chance of winning this game at all. couldn't have killed this because they could have just activated their Hall and killed me with that. So I have to take the damage here from the Meat Hook Massacre. Yep. Go to 4. Go to 3, go to 2. They keep getting more things out of their library. Oh, and that's when it enters the battlefield. Oh, yeah. I mean, I couldn't have blocked this, so I can't do anything about that. I would need Farewell, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I draw a land, I can Deluge for a Farewell. Oh, no, they kill me here with Meat Hook Massacre. Okay. Yeah, that was a really good game. I probably could have played that game better. Again, my opponent's Kaito. There was that one turn I should have blocked differently, but my opponent's Kaito really took over the game. I think them having that on turn 3. This game has also just shown me that I just want to have more copies of Fateful Absence. 2 is probably fine for now, but I might even want more. Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah, I think I would have won if this could have stuck around longer. I might want a second copy of Hullbreaker Heart because this card just wins games on the spot. A second, maybe a third copy of Absence could have been good. Like, I would much rather my opponent had had just one card than a Kaito for like a million turns in a row. But overall, so those couple games we played, I was very happy with like the build of the deck. I think there are definitely things that could be switched around. I mean, that Teferi, I think if they didn't have the removal tool that turn for the Teferi, I think that like this could have been really awesome. It would have gained us a ton of life that game. So I'm actually really happy with like the play of this card, even though it's just one copy. The negate did work. I like the Wraths. Maybe I have too many Wraths. It was an awkward game because at some point I would have liked to play one of these Farewells, but I got rid of all the 3 copies I saw. But they just weren't as impactful the turns where I need to be more proactive. But I like the build of the deck. Definitely some tuning that could be done for sure, but I hope you really enjoyed me playing through these couple games of the deck and talking about the build and card choices. I think this will be a pretty strong archetype in the current standard format, hopefully with the release of Streets of New Capenna in about a month or so. This deck still stays around, but maybe there's like a banned version of it because we're getting the new Tri-lands. But overall, yeah, I really like this deck. I think Blue-White Control has just always been a staple of like standard, Pioneer, Modern. It's just a deck. These sorts of decks have always just been around, and I really enjoy playing them. I think if you're a seasoned player, you'll be able to make decisions well with this deck, and think critically about different card choices. So yeah, I was pretty happy to just build this deck on my own and kind of look at some of the Pioneer and Modern versions and extrapolate what I learned from those decks and try and integrate that into a standard version of the deck. So yeah, thanks for watching, and keep up with all of my content at face-to-facegames.com. Catch you later.